rise to express opposition to this legislation, not to the idea of getting rid of an archaic, gendered rule. The dower rule is not is not well formed. It's not something we should have on the books in the 21st century. The problem with this legislation is it does not preserve something that the dower right does right, which is require that a spouse get the signature of the other spouse when conveying a very important piece of property. So what I offered on second reading is an opportunity to amend this legislation to tie bar to a bill that I introduced, which would create a gender-neutral requirement that any time a spouse is selling the family home, that spouse has to get a signature on the deed of the other spouse. Now, the reason this is important is in a lot of families here in Michigan, and I'll be traditional here for a moment and say, very often the home is in the name of the husband. It's both spouses, husband and wife, are not both on the deed. That means, without the dower rule, that the husband can sell the house out from under her, or the wife can sell the house out from under him. Now, we all know of situations where people get into trouble. People have, drug addictions, gambling problems, and they go to the bank or they go somewhere and they encumber that house with all kinds of debt. They borrow against that house or they sell that house. And, maybe down the road, he or she passes away and the surviving spouse thinks they have a home that they'll be able to live in for the rest of their lives. Guess what? They don't. Or they have an asset that they can use in retirement, and they find out they have no equity in that home. I don't think anybody sitting here on either side of the aisle wants to see that happen. But without the dower rule or a substitute that would be gender neutral, we're opening up the possibility for this to happen. So this legislation is not ready. We need to overcome a few barriers. I think it's possible to do that, but voting yes on this tonight is going to eliminate the opportunity to fix this. And you can say, well, fix it next year, but the powers that be that are really, that have a lot to do with what gets done around here are not going to have any incentive. Once they get rid of the dower rule that they don't like, they're not going to try to fix this in a way that would make this gender neutral and really preserve the security for men and women, for husbands and wives. So that's how I wanted to explain it. Mr. Speaker, thank you very much for the time. I urge a no vote.